Hey YouTubers, so it's day 4 of the Zombie Hunter build. I haven't had a lot of time to work on the truck. I've been doing some other things while I've been in town. But, so basically what I'm doing is I'm doing more exploratory work. And like here, I found out that this was all actually Bondo in here, so I banged it all out. And right now I'm looking for clean steel. So I've been, you know, it was started to be pitting here, and I kept on moving up and up and up until you get to completely clean steel. Then I know how big to make my patch. But what I'm also doing is I'm just going to keep hitting this up with the grinder and try to clean it up, because there's a lot of pitting, right? And so where there's pitting, there's going to be rust forming once again. So I'm going to hit it up with the grinder and try to get down to the bottom of the pitting, and then I'm going to hit it up with a variety of wire wheels and hopefully get the rest of the rust out of there and clean it up completely, and then I'm going to cover it up. So what I'm doing is I'm using the grinder here, and I'm grinding down into all the pitting and trying to get to the clean metal that's underneath, at least even it out, so that that rust that's in the pits doesn't come back, so it's going to be completely smooth again. Alright, so I hit up the rusty area with a cut-off tool and cut out the bad metal. You can see where I actually was doing my exploratory step and went further just to see where the good metal was, and where some of this was pitting, but I ended up using a wire wheel and then the grinder and then and the other buffer to kind of get out all the pits. And then what I did is my fast etch didn't come in yet, but what I'm doing is it's a little homebrew of 4-to-1 ratio of white vinegar, distilled vinegar, and water. So I'm hitting that up, and I hit up all the surface rust with it just to show you. This is, I'll put that on there, and what it does is it destroys the rust. I mean, it's not as good as the Eastwood etching self-etch, because that actually converts it to zinc, but which prevents it from rusting again. But this is good for now. This is just to kind of clear up the areas and see what I need to cut out, and then after that I'll go over it with some more water and then cover it up with a Duplicolor self-etching primer. And then after that I'm going to sand it down and then do my tack welding. But this is just to get everything out in the open, know what I need to do, how big the pieces are, and all that stuff. So back to work. I got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a lot of cutting, a lot of grinding, and just to see, you know, this, I cannot, for the life of me, I've tried, you can see, I've tried every possible tool I can, except for adding heat to it, but I cannot get this nut off of there. It's rusted, and the rust basically welded it onto there. So I'm going to probably take a torch to it and try to loosen that nut off. But once I get that off, then I can take this entire fender off and do all the repair work on it, because you can see, like, man, it is bad. And like I said, it's like $700 to buy one, so plus the weight and everything. So I mean, obviously they're not going to have them locally, so I have to wait until it comes from Austria. So it's not going to be good. I swear to God, I cannot catch a break, man. Look at this. More fiberglass. Everywhere I look, you know, this truck's plugged up with fiberglass. So I'm gonna have to gonna be digging all this shit out, and then see, this is unfortunate right here. I'll have to make a patch for that too, but so here's where I'll have to put a bend, because you can see there's like it kind of comes over here, and there's this kind of raised area. So get this Bondo out, bang all the Bondo out, bang all this fiberglass, clean it up because I don't want to weld anything with this around. And then let's see how much of this is fiberglass. It feels like it's a lot. It feels like fiberglass right here actually. Yeah, I'll see. I'll have to try to recreate this whole piece. This I don't want to do because this is kind of complex, but if I can, this is bad right here. I don't know, we'll see how good my sheet metal bending is and my fabrication. Like I said, you know, just in sheet metal alone it would probably cost me almost $3,000, you know, let's see, let's do the math. Those are about $600 to $700 each. So that's, we'll say $1,200 to $1,400 just in the two front quarter panels. These are about $250 each, right? So that's another $500. So we're already looking at $2,000. These are another $500 or $600 if you could find them. These are another $300. So we're looking at like, you know, $3,500 to $4,000 just in sheet metal. And I don't want to spend that much money, especially since they have to ship the stuff. They don't have it on hand here, obviously, in America. They have to ship stuff from Austria, which who knows how long that would take me. And then you got to end up paying probably the VAT tax or whatever they have, value-added tax. So that's probably astronomical. So all in all, that's not a good route for me to take. So I'd rather just repair it and then cover the whole thing up with the Monster Liner, which I haven't even received the samples yet. And by the time I receive the samples and know what color I want to pick, I'll probably be heading back to New York. So I won't be able to apply it. So I might have to have, you know, my dad or, you know, somebody else just roll it on the truck, because I don't have a big enough compressor to spray it. The biggest compressor I have is like, you know, probably like a 10-gallon or whatever, 8-gallon compressor, and you need to have at least probably, you know, you need to have a proper shop compressor to be able to spray a car. So back to doing my exploratory work, fixing the Swiss cheese. You know, I guess Austria and Switzerland are kind of close to each other, so it makes sense that this car would look like Swiss cheese. But that's that. Back to work, back to finding out what the hell's wrong with this thing and cutting more metal. See you in a bit. Alright, so at some point in time, somebody tack welded a patch right here. You can see a ground into this, and then there was another piece. Apparently they must have not had it. Maybe they used that to make something to weld to, so maybe they tacked that one in the rear first in place, and then they started building the other patch on top of that. So it was all rusted, and then they used body filler and with Bondo made, you know, finished off the lip right here, and then you saw there was fiberglass for the rest of it. So it was like, I don't know, a bunch of different techniques they used. I don't know how old this is. I mean, this piece is still welded into here pretty good. This part was rusting because obviously it was exposed. It was exposed right here. But I mean, it's not really a bad job, you know. They taxed it, but it ended up getting rusted But over here is where the problem was, where it was opened up, and this wasn't it wasn't cleaned off properly, and it wasn't coated with anything, so it ended up getting rusted. And so we ended up getting a hole here, and then over here they just finished it off with Bondo and stuff, and then moisture got in there, and then it started rusting from the inside. And you can see that hole lit. So I don't know. You know, I'm gonna have to, I guess, cut it maybe from here, form my own, and I could even patch maybe on top of, you know, another lip on top of it. So maybe from here. See, I don't want to cut this because this is good and it's shaped already. So what I could do is I can kind of build patches onto that. I don't know. They're two separate pieces, right? So this body panel is the outer skin, and here's the inner one. And so I got to make sure that there's no seam and no entrance for anything to get inside there. So I got to weld it all together as one solid piece. Otherwise, moisture will get in there, and then it'll end up falling down here. And this is why, you know, I was wondering how the rot got so high up here. What actually happened was all the road stuff, whatever, you know, the salty slush on the road ended up getting kicked into this hole and working its way between the two panels. So the outer skin and the inner skin, and then working its way, and then all collecting down here and eating its way through the bottom. You know, gravity pulled it down here, it just sat down inside there, and then it came out. So actually, the rockers, the rot that was on the rockers and the rot that was up here is actually unrelated. This, I believe, is from water just getting between the outer skin and the inner skin of the body. Well, remember that bolt and nut that I couldn't get off? There's the one that I got off easily, and the one that I couldn't get off, I got it off. And you can see I ended up freaking breaking it. So now I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to either not use that piece anymore, or just run it without one, or God, that sucks, man. You know, I'll have to try to put in a new one or weld on a new one. Fudge, man. You know, that's one thing with working with old cars. When crap like this comes up, you know, there's no way I'd be able to get this thing off, man. I mean, I had, you know, penetrating lubricant inside there, trying to get it in. You know, sprayed the crap out of it with WD-40. Still wasn't coming off, and it's so rusted that it's just welded into it, you know, with rust. Sucks, man. Well, I'll be able to get the freaking fender off now. I hope, unless I'm gonna have some more surprises. But yeah, doing more work on here. I just sprayed this with like etching primer. I'm gonna, before I do the body work, obviously I'm gonna get all that primer off, sand it all off again, and clean it up, and then do it. But this is just right now as I'm looking for stuff that I need to do, and I can assess exactly what I need to cut off now. You know, where the rust ends and where it begins, and then man, it's just one disappointment after the other. You know, like the only satisfaction I have is knowing that eventually, hopefully, it's gonna be done and look good. At least now I can get this piece of crap off and, you know, repair the whole thing. But man, that pisses me off so bad. Fudge, man. You know, like, And I knew it was gonna happen, you know? Like I felt it kind of give. And I was like, oh, I'm turning it, you know? And I couldn't see what I was doing. I wasn't turning it, I was shearing it off the, you know. Alright, well, the sun's gonna be going down probably pretty soon. I'll have lights on out here, but I don't know how much I'm gonna get done now.